PTG, Proxy Table Gaming, Lucky Sixes with Hyper G.
Bonjour. Mon ami.
Very kind of you to say so. We have been enemies before, but for this, we haven't played against each other in a long while, have we?
No, we haven't actually.
We've been friends for a while.
Yeah, we keep opting out. We keep going to tournaments, hoping we'll play against each other, don't, and then opting out of the final battle again. We need to put that back up.
I think so. Yeah. But then you don't like playing online games, so the chances of doing Dread Elves versus Warriors.
Here I am.
Here you are.
What a segment. And here we are for Warhol.
More Carnage.
Carnage. And I promised Carnage, didn't I? So I have to live up to it. A map review too for people that are interested. Carnage. So if you've seen the last Bat Rep, you'll know what Carnage is all about. But essentially,
you should know because we covered it very in detail.
Yes, we did actually.
Yeah.
But essentially, you need to get into combat and you need to kill stuff.
In combat. Or directly afterwards.
Or when they flee.
Yeah.
From combat.
That's it, really. It sounds a lot more simple when we put it like
that. Yeah. We're releasing a series of podcasts just on this. We don't know how we've got 3 seasons of 12 episodes, but essentially that is, in a nutshell, is that.
Yeah, it's like the episode 9, the wedding, the red wedding is Carnage.
Anyway, my list for people is the same.
Your list is so bad.
3 units of 10 Great Weapon Wrath chosen because 5,000 points, essentially.
Like, it genuinely brings the game into disrepute.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, I said I want to make this work because 5,000 points. I don't want to think at all. So far, so good in the objectives as well. Completely fluked, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, and 3 units. 3 chosen lords with greed, all the weapons, all the armor in the big block, essentially, and the another warriors list unit with lust. So watch out for them, folks. We have one of the most different, interesting vampire covenant lists.
Now this is a good list.
Right. So this is Tim Bokanek, who's a little bit notorious for trying new lists and trying to get trying to do stuff people and catch people unawares, I think. And I think this list is certainly going down that road. We'll do a bit of a redux of this list and some pros and cons and things at the end. But it's a really interesting list. His core is purely bat swarms.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's just 40 bat swarms.
Usually you wouldn't even see bat swarm units above 3.
They have no
or 2. Is it 2 that they're minimum?
2 minimum, and then they're not much more.
So to see more than 2,
absolutely,
let alone the maximum, is crazy.
And then 4 units of Baronites. If you look at Hammer and Anvil, in terms of that, you've got the Baronites as a hammer, bat swarms as the anvil, because you've got to get through 40 wounds per unit.
Yeah. They're not the ones with distracting, though, are they? Bat swarms. Oh, they are.
Yeah, they are. They're the core ones. So distracting, hard target. So you're not shooting them. You're not. You find it harder to hit them. Obviously with the raises and things, and he has a vampire courtier, a necromancer, all with the ability to raise. 2 fell wraiths on skeleton steed, not seen that before either as well.
No.
2 altars of undeath just to help out a bit, and 2 units of spectral hunters again for the added hammer, and the fact that other than magic, they're pretty resilient. So really interesting. I should hurt them in combat, which will help me objective wise, but from terms of the list itself, I don't know. We'll have to see, really.
Yeah, I mean, going against an opponent that has 0 shooting is like your most amazing
Yes,
draw ever,
that is
isn't it?
good.
Really.
They do have a bit of magic, but yeah, as you say, it's not the most.
Look at
offensive.
those units.
Now,
That is
another
amazing.
thing that might have helped me out here is the fact that it's a Dawn Assault type deployment, which obviously for me is not a problem.
You've got
four
loads of room.
units. Yeah, don't worry about it. But for his, skirmisher core of so many wounds,
40mm bat swarms,
and to fit in the knights as well, that obviously caused a bit of a thing. So I mean, if you're in the comment, don't put about 1-inch stuff because I said this was fine.
just don't put it in,
don't
guys.
Put it in.
Just don't put it in. Come on, Tommy, stop typing it now.
Right,
just delete it, Tommy.
Press backspace.
Take it out. Backspace.
A smiley face and leave it. Right.
Yep, that's all we want from you, Tommy.
But yeah, essentially, so I've got chosen, greed lords with the normal warriors, big block, chosen, and then lust warriors behind. I've got the sorcerer in the big block as well.
By the time we get to round 4, are you just going to record chosen on a dictaphone?
Chosen,
press play every time. Chosen.
No, but I'll do it in like all different like tones. Chosen.
Brilliant.
Yeah. From his point of view, he has spectral hunters behind them, baronites with a champion and a fell wraith spectral hunter behind him, an altered. Not Alter Sight.
Ultra Bunda.
Ultra Bundeth. Yeah. Then he's got big unit of bats with baronites, and it was being weird. The general on a steed is on the flying steed rather than a normal. I think it's spectral steed rather than a skeletal steed, and Warhol wasn't coming up. So that unit has what looks like an infantry model next to it. It's not.
Sure. Okay.
Then you've got big unit of bats. Then big unit of bats with baronites, BS, necromancer, and Felwraith in it. Then altar of undeath, big unit of bats, spectral hunters, and baronites behind. Whew.
Wow.
Blimey. Yeah, really interesting. I believe he dropped for first.
Sure.
But we'll see in the next picture. I dropped for first.
Smooth.
So, I mean, yeah, I dropped for first, and I'm not bothered.
You book it, yeah.
I move up. I can't wait around. I kind of am a bit more tentative on the right-hand side because I don't want him to get around me really easy. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy at just marching forward. Because that's what I got this list for. It's not the most tactical. It just does its stuff. On to Magic, and he lets everything off because why not? He's not charging me.
Not charging you. Yeah.
So you're like, all right, fair play. One thing we need to look out for as well. In the last bat rep, I cast the 5-up Aegis from the Dark Prelate one on a different unit. It's only cast as unit. The Prelate spells. So obviously Rod of Battle can, but 5-up Aegis and this second reroll to wound is only on the big unit or the Dark Prelate himself if he moves out. So we'll see how many times I get that wrong. I've obviously since I've played it, recorded it, and then so we'll see if I get any more wrong.
There's a potential for that one being a recurring error, unfortunately, is what you're saying.
But we'll see. I'm interested to see how many times I do it. I had a conversation. I think it was Steps, actually, one of our Patreon guys, who said that, which is really interesting to have that those people as well. So, sort of mentioned that in the air. Said, well, that's why Dark Prelate doesn't get taken as much because that immediately
can only be done on your own unit.
So onto his turn. He moves his distracting bats up to the
wall. So it's distracting cumulative.
No.
I was going to say so.
They're behind a wall, right?
Yeah.
I don't get my impact hits.
Man.
And basically just moves up to just roadblock me, basically stop me getting.
It's very close though with those bats, isn't he? So he's not worried.
I think the list itself though doesn't mind them getting charged. I think.
Sure.
I think they want to get charged and then counter charge with everything, which is why you see him sort of flagging out a bit around the side. His Dawn Assault has now gone into a full arc.
Yeah, where he would want it to be to begin with.
Yeah, for sure. So I move, or he moves like this, just sort of flags out, and then not expecting me to get through the bats.
Sure.
If I charge one each, then I'll just get tied up and he'll counter charge. So interesting tactic.
That's right.
So I don't charge one each. I double up on the closest ones. The only one really that is, I think the one on the left is auto. The one on the second left is about a 5. I think I have to. That might be a 6 or something. The big general unit is a auto, and the other one is about an 8. So the only one that's really bothered, I guess, is the one on the right. So it's just whether or not I get in with everything, really. And fortunately for me, I do.
Amazing.
This poses a few issues for my opponent.
I was going to say, I'm waiting for my moment to say that's not great.
No, I think genuinely he was a little bit. I don't know whether caught out by me doubling up and not going 1-1-1-1-1.
It would have been a temptation to go 1-1-1 and get all of them.
Yeah,
but like you say, he was probably hoping you'd be caught up 1 versus 1.
Yeah, I guess knowing that A, distracting, and B, 40 wounds to get through. Even a unit of 30 attack chosen might struggle to do 20 wounds.
But so what is it? You've got Wrath on the chosen, haven't you? So
Wrath just means I go at my own agility and I get +1 to hit. I get lightning reflexes, basically. I get +1 agility.
Are they great
weapons? Yes, but it's so I essentially go at my agility rather. So I go first, and I'm agility 7 on the charge.
So you're going to be hitting on 4s then, anyway.
I hit on 4s without magic, so immediately my 30 attacks go down to 15, and then I wound on 2s, so I probably do 12 to 14.
But you have got Rod of Battle, and you have got Ancestral Aid.
But I mean, knowing that, let's say I do 10. Let's be optimistic. Let's say I do 13. If I go into anything and do 13 wounds, I don't wipe it out.
No.
Even my chosen lords only.
But that's why you've doubled up, isn't it? Because you're not having one unit of chosen; it's one unit of bats, are you? So.
Well, now I've got 60 attacks.
Exactly, yeah.
And I do 30 hits and 25 wounds.
If you don't get any magic,
and that's on average. Even if I go below average, I get about 20 wounds. So I do,
and that is enough to crumble them.
And that is enough to. And obviously, that we're sort of sticking on this one a little bit because there's lots of overruns, and they're not that far.
No, they don't look it. I mean, you've got in the middle, you've got an overrun. 6 inches?
To put into perspective, so on the left, I've got 2 chosen units into that wrath, into the bat. Sorry, the chosen units on the left, but the right unit to get into the altar needs a 10. So to put into perspective what the things are, that's obviously the biggest one. Everything else needs a 6 or a 7 to get into stuff. I think even the chosen on the rightmost need like a
8 or 9. Or something.
Yeah. It's
the altar.
It's not the biggest thing in the world, to be honest.
No.
So I get I think this is rerolls to hit off on my chosen lords, which is great. Which is sort of.
Is that the number 2?
That's number 2, yeah. I also get rerolls to wound over here. In fact, actually, that one might be to hit. Whatever it is, I get a spell over here as well on one of the units of chosen, which is heading into the altar.
Number 2 is Whispers of the Bale.
So maybe he's done that on me, actually.
He's done that on you, yeah. Ancestral Aid is reroll to hit with your unit, number 4.
Right, so I get reroll to hit, thank you very much, on this unit, and that was all. I wiped the floor with the bats. He does actually do 1 wound to me. I don't kill him outright. He does 1 wound to me, but I crumble him to death.
Does that give you an objective for the record? If he's crumbled?
I mean,
I suppose you count as destroyed. So
it would have to, otherwise he's completely.
Yeah, otherwise VC and UD could give up objective points, could they?
And
So,
Supernal would be different. I
yeah,
haven't read it
yeah,
exactly, but I assume so.
yeah. Oh, I would think so.
But yeah, I mean, two things here. Obviously, I get into the Barrow Knights over there, and they're low agility, and it should be a
wipe through them as well.
I don't run into the altar here, but he hasn't really got much options.
Nowhere to go.
His spectral hunters on the left here can't see anything, so there's no counter charge, and really, it's not. Yeah, we started chatting quite a lot at this point.
I was going to say, it's not a great scenario.
Very interesting, but yeah, I mean, Chosen absolutely wiping the floor, doing carnage.
Yeah, Massacre and Carnage.
I do the same here. I don't get into him.
You don't get into either. Okay.
But again,
there's not much you can do about it.
I overrun simply to try and get into these, because if I get into these, it's definitely game.
And to avoid the flank bat swarms into your Chosen unit.
Yeah, there's that
which
as well.
Which
would just be annoying.
It would just be that is all it is. Worst case scenario, it takes two or three rounds of combat instead of one.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be steadfast for turning, but like you said, that would allow him to start moving around and things. But there are no counter charges other than ones you see, which are favourable. Yeah,
there are counter charges, but they're not good ones.
Yeah. So on his turn,
he's got to.
Two.
He's got to.
That's absolutely right. He's a bit just Hail Marrying at this point. He charges both in. They're auto charges, so they'll get in. He does have impact hits as well, so if that spikes, and he's got a chance there. I guess on that side, the only issue is, if I go back, the only issue is that I've got rerolls to hit, and I'm going first.
Sure.
So out of all my units, this is the most powerful. And he's got his general going into there. So what can you do? Let's just say at this point.
Not a lot.
Again, it takes this charge in. Wants to. The good thing about the Barrow Knights. And again, obviously with my first battle coming up against the multiple wound Carnosaurs, Barrow Knights, like Barrow Guard, have multiple wounds 2 against infantry, which against Chosen is really good, right?
Yeah.
It kind of, but it's pretty much just Chosen in the game. I don't know too many infantry that are multiple wounds. I think it's standard infantry as well. It's something really, so characters and Chosen. But obviously, Chosen go way before them, and there's not only so much usefulness against them. So, but they also have lethal strike as well. And infantry-wise, my Wardayers Chosen Lords are infantry and
standard.
Yeah, and have lots of armor. So he's going for it.
I think he has to. There's not really anywhere he can run to. So.
He doesn't charge the altar into the Chosen on solo, because that is suicide.
Yep.
Because these are the ones that don't have any ages, so they would just die.
Sure.
He gets in. This is what it looks like. He gets in over here, and this is what it looks like overall. So he does come around. Well, especially on the left-hand side, he comes on them to see if there's anything worth doing. On the right side, my Lust Warriors sort of do keep him honest a little bit, but I mean, it's less important over there.
Yep.
I want to say he gets Whisperers of Veil off again, which is really good.
Sure.
This is before combat. I don't know where we're doing it. Oh yeah. So this is after combat. I just
those knights
absolutely trash his knights.
Yeah, absolutely.
His general impact hits and stuff do go in and do, I think that's 9 wounds. So that's pretty good. But with rerolls to hit, I'd ignore these guys completely and just go after the unit.
Yeah,
he's done 9. So what happens is he has a charge and 9 wounds. I want to say 9. Yeah. I have. That was the unit of 11. So I have 11. So he wins. He loses by 1. I've got standard. Whatever it is, he loses by 1, and both of the guys crumble 1. Which, I mean, it's good where he's at the minute. But over this side, I just completely destroy that unit. Again,
now it's a problem.
Again, I go for the unit. I don't even care about the Fell Wraith. Fell Wraith does a few wounds to me. And now I've got options, but realistically, I'm just going to go into the side of that altar
to finish them off. Yeah,
finish that off and the general really, because wounds still matter. I'll hopefully get some wounds against a wound against general. I only need to win by 1. I probably won't have the charge in the flank, in the big flank. Oh well, I won't have a big flank anyway, but I will have the wounds done to the altar. So
yeah,
I'm pretty happy over there, and everything else crumbles, and I don't really care. So
and even if the bats and the spectral hunters are free to do something next turn, they're still not going to cause you any more trouble.
Absolutely. So, yep, that's this side. Over here, he kills my chosen lord with a dark prelate.
How rude!
Absolutely, I can't believe it. But
maybe that was your comeuppance for getting dark prelate wrong last time.
Maybe. But I mean, again, what happens is my chosen lords go first. Do a number on his unit. He goes. I think this might even be. No. Well, however it is, all of his attacks go on this one because he's quite wide, so he can.
Yeah.
Kills it. Literally needed exactly what it needed, but with the lethal strike and multiple wounds too, he got 2 through. Didn't save on my Aegis. If I had one, he might be the one without actually. And lethal strike.
Dead.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. So fair play. So he gets that point, but I crumble the unit because he's got 4. I've got his unit. And all the static res in the world. And we call it there.
Yeah.
Really? There's not a lot. It's my turn next. I get his general and his altar on the left-hand side. He said, we could go on, but it's inevitable, really, because he starts crumbling.
You must have been like 6-0 up on the objective by this point as well.
Oh, yeah. Objective, for sure, is mine. The only way he gets to the objective is he kills every single unit in combat, and he's not getting my chosen lord unit. He's very unlikely to get my other units, but he's not.
He's got nothing different to go into you.
Yeah, so
he's already put his best units into you, hasn't he? So.
So if he gets everything, then I think he draws the objective at this point. But it's null void. He said the issue for him now is the amount of crumble. Like the bats can go in, but the bats are a tar pit and will die. Yeah. So the best he can do is keep everything alive, and then he still loses big anyway. So. I mean, that's provided I don't get anything else to get him in. So we called it there. It was a good game. We had a really good chat. It was a really fun game, actually, in terms of what we were chatting about and the things. I guess from Bat Rep point of view, it was fairly straightforward and in and out jobby.
Yeah, I mean, looking at how he could have played it differently to avoid that happening, it's avoidance, isn't it? As the only real way of dealing with your list, with what he had.
Just to confirm it, that was we got a 20-0 and he just said don't worry about it. I've got 0 points, but actually he got the Lord, so it didn't make a difference though, so he said just put it down as a 0.
Yeah, I don't think that would have changed it.
But if we zoom so here we go.
This was the way you won.
This was the turn. So yeah, I mean, as far as plays and stuff go, I guess this is the only actual play that happened. In that I doubled up. I did get every charge as well, which definitely helps.
Of course.
Here, so it's I guess from a learning point of view, from his point of view, I guess it's not to allow those double charges, but there's not a lot he can do in that regard. No. They're only move 6-12, which sounds a lot for core flying chaff units essentially before, but it's an issue really. One of the things we said about this list, and another reason why he's picked it before the tournament, and that is quite crucial, is that there's a rule surrounding the raising in Vampire Counts, which I'm not sure everybody knows. A Vampire Covenant, I should say. So he's got Hour of the Wolf, which would allow him to raise these beyond their starting size.
The bats.
Yeah, normally. Which, obviously, these 40 wounds could potentially go to 80, you think. But actually, you can only raise, even if it's double the starting size of a thing, to a unit's maximum in the unit entry list.
Yeah.
So the reason zombies can go massive is because they have 0 to 80, and I don't know anybody that starts with more than 40 zombies anyway. So they can get raised beyond it. Skeletons, obviously, I think are 0 to 60, I want to say, but so have that ability to get really high. But bats are 0 to 10. So the maximum you can ever raise them, even with Our the Wolf, which he bought as an upgrade for, is 10, which is a bit of an oversight that he sort of found out.
So really, what the conclusion was of that is that he should have had 8 units of 5 bat swarms.
Yeah.
Spent 1 turn doubling them all up to 8 units of 10 bat swarms. Obviously, that would be pretty difficult to achieve, but that's what he could do. And then he would have.
Absolutely. So it's
how many?
You probably
can only have 4 units.
Right, there we go.
4 units of bat swarm, so you couldn't have any more.
A really interesting concept, and I really like looking at Tim's lists in terms of that, because there is a lot of thinking that goes into it in list building that I know I certainly don't put into.
Also, they do have distracting,
But really interesting hammer and anvil style. I think he kind of concluded that this wasn't, because of that major factor, it wasn't that doable. Also, the general movement in terms of having to stay next to your general and bubble and that.
And Dawn Assault didn't help him there.
Dawn Assault didn't. Well, I mean, in this matchup for sure. This is a bad. We both concluded this was a bad matchup for him anyway. Vampires, I think, is a good matchup for this type of Warriors list anyway, regardless of what is in either. But yeah, no, it was a really fun battle. I guess it was an uphill battle from his point of view to start off with, and it just didn't kick off. Was the thing, but
you did make the right play, to double charge. So fair play there.
Yeah, that's it. So, but yeah, it was a good game, and obviously a big 20, putting me on 26 after 2. So
nice.
I too was in second place.
Great.
I was against top in my next battle. So we're both fighting for that qualification into the quarters.
2 rounds to go.
Yeah.
Sweet. Give us some comments on that. Let us know what you think about Tim's list and what would be the optimum way of playing this list, potentially.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, is it better to have 4 units of 5 bat swarms or 4 units of 8 bat swarms, just enough to bump them up, sort of thing? And then obviously have an extra core unit doing something.
Yeah.
Because I think it's got legs. Just needs a bit of tweaking.
I think so.
And not to come up against a list like yours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really.
Absolutely.
So I think it could work against others, but Chosen just laugh at that kind of bat swarmage, don't they? So,
they do, unfortunately.
Like, share, subscribe, give us the comments generally as well as anything. Thanks to Steps for pointing out the Dark Prelate thing.
Yeah.
We need to learn as much as everyone else. So keep those sort of things coming, because we don't spot everything. Yeah. As I am very much guilty of. We'll roll into round 3. Very much looking forward to more Massacre.
Yep. Yeah, let's say if you haven't already, check out our Facebook and Twitter and Instagram with Gobbo. Patreon, if you're that way inclined as well.
Yeah, if you want to be a Patreon.
But if not, simply like, share and subscribing is good enough for us. We're interested in all your comments, like always, and keep up the good work.
We'll see you
PTGers.
For round 3. Yeah, PTGers. See you for round 3, folks.
See you later.